Assalamualaikum and hi. So we're gonna present for topic now, which is Islamic trade financing facilities. So enjoy your watching.
Riba and its application in Islam.
Okay, my name is ATIKAH binti DAUD, entry number 264451. I will explain about the application of riba, which is kafalah. Kafalah is guarantee for a loan, and all loan must be repaid in due course according to Islamic law. The law allows the lender to demand some sort of security for the loan in the case where the borrower fails to repay the loan. In kafalah is play an important role in facilitating trade across border, by which the bank is asked as a guarantor of payment in the international trade transaction. Islamic banks are able to offer bank guarantee, standby letter of credit and shipping guarantee using the concept of kafalah. The second is Qard al-Hasan. From the legal of view, the main ingredient of a Qard al-Hasan contract is a loan is not contaminate in any ways of riba. Qard al-Hasan contract between Islamic bank and borrower state borrower only has to pay back the amount of borrowed, although the borrower can pay back extra money as a thanks. Loans such as these are used as an attempt to alleviate poverty and create economic growth.
Al-Bay Bitaman Ajil. Definitions: sale contract in which the payment of the price is deferred and payable at a certain particular time in future. Nature Al-Bay Bitaman Ajil. BBA is essentially to sell something with a prompt delivery of sold items to the purchaser, while the payment is postponed until a specified date in the future or through installment. That's toxic. In the Malaysia context, the selling price both in by al-Murabahah and BBA is based on the cost price. Okay, so the time value of money in buy Bitamani Ajil. Hadith did not specifically mention whether such increment is allowed on the basis of its deferment. Second, its permissibility is based on legal proofness and by the testimony of the juries by consent. Applications in Malaysia, BBA financing is employed by bank to provide medium to long-term financing to clients for acquiring, for example, property, land, motor vehicles, consumer goods, shares, overdraft facility, and education financing package. Home financing is the most popular facility granted under the concept by Bitaman Ajil, either to purchase existing complete houses, build or construct new house, or customers' lands, even as a refinancing facilities. Okay, for the Murabah definitions, it is a contract or a partnership where one provides the capitals and the others the entrepreneurships, with the profit being shared among them with predetermined conditions. Partnership in profit whereby one party, which is a Rob Alman, provides capital and the other party, which is a Mudari, provides labor. Okay, for the characteristic of Mudarabah, the profit will be shared between the two parties according to the terms of their agreement. Second, the losses will be borne by the capital provider alone, who is the financier. The entrepreneur only suffers the frustration of a fruitless effort. Condition of capital: the capital must be clearly specified, determined, and known at the time of the contract. Second, must be available cash present during the conclusion of contract. Lastly, must be delivered to the possession of the mudarrib entirely. Lastly, for the condition of profit of mudarabah, the distribution of profit must be determined proportionally between the capital provider and the entrepreneur. The predetermined profit must be in ratio from a percentage and not in fixed amount, allowed to be different ratios at different situations. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nazifah binti Nazir. My metric number 263808. So I will present on murabahah. So murabahah is a type of contract, a form of sale where the seller expressly mentions the cost of sold commodity that has been incurred and sell it to another person, which is the buyer, by adding some profit or markup. And mechanism has to be conducted with completely sincerity, trust by the seller, financial by stating the cost incurred, and also the profit incurred must be clearly and truthfully. For the applications of murabahah, to make use of buy al-murabahah in circumstances where they will purchase raw material, goods or equipment and sell them to the client at cost, plus a negotiate profit margin to be paid normally by installments. So murabahah was applied in murabahah financings, bank treasury product through the murabahah commodity, issuance of sukuk murabahah and also the international trade financing.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is FARAH the MASTOR. My metric number is 26423. Okay, for my part is for Al-Ijara. Okay, Al-Ijara is a contract for the transfer of ownership of usufruct for compensation. This agreement between two parties, one buying ownership of the asset, who give the possession of the asset for the use to the other party and agree rental and period for the rental. And then Al-Ijara have two type of Ijara, which is simple Ijara as known as a operating lease and Ijara Tuma Al-Bai, which is financial lease. Okay, for pillars of Ijara, which is for the first one is a Muajir. Muajir is a lessor or a person who gives something for hire. Next is Sirah. Sirah is ijab and kabul, offer or acceptance. Next is Ujra. Ujra is a price or fee given for payment of the rent. And then Mustajir. Mustajir is lease, a person who take on hire. And then Ma'jur. Ma'jur is a thing or good given for rent. And then Al-Manfa'ah. Al-Manfa'ah is a usufruct or benefit of the goods. Okay, for the element in Al-Ijara, which is for the one is duration. Duration is based solely on a predetermined time frame as part of the requirement of the contract. Next is nature. Nature is a temporary contract with a specified time frame for expire and due time. Ownership is no time for ownership. And subject is usufruct and services. Okay, for the flow of Ijara, the situation is the customer identified a car that she wish to lease from a car dealer. So how the process and how the flow that she can get the car. So firstly, the customer will approach the bank for the car financings, and then the bank will buy the car from the car dealer and take ownership of the car, and then the bank will enter ITIP, which is Islamic Hire Purchases Agreement with the customer, and then at the end of the leasing period, a sale contract should be executed with normal price. Okay.
My name is NURUL SAHWANI binti MASRI, metric number 264113. I will present on Al-Wadi'ah Yadamana. This type of wadi'ah is a combination of safekeeping and guarantee. The wadi'ah is based on guarantee whereby the custodian guarantees the refund of the item upon request. This type of wadi'ah facilities wider application in the Islamic banking system. Important feature of wadi'ah yadamana. First, the custodian is entitled to use the deposited property for trading or any purpose. Second, the custodian has a right to any income derived from a utilization of the deposited item liable for any damage or loss. Third, the custodian owns the profit and under his discretion to give some portion of it as a gift or hibah to the depositor. The gift cannot be in the form of a pre-agreed agreement. And last, the custodian must return the deposited property to the owner at any time upon the request of the depositor. Essential element for wadi. First, muwati or we call depositor. Have legal capacity, must be sane and reach the age of puberty. Second is wadi or known as bank or custodian, which is person has legal capacity. Third is wadi'ah or called as deposited property, which is valuable property in Islamic law, can be possessed physically. And last, sirah or we call ijab and kabul, which is offer and acceptance between wadi and wadi. Modus operandi al-wadi'ah yudamana. First, depositor give the wadi'ah or property to the bank or we call custodian. And the custodian invest or borrow it to halal investment or borrower. And after that, borrower will get a loss or profit and give it to the bank or we call custodian. And at last, custodian or bank will give the hibah or we call gift to the depositor. There are advantages and disadvantages in musyarakah. Basically, musyarakah is easy to establish, ability to raise funds, effective decision making and cost, risk transfer, as well as mature decision. Besides that, there are also disadvantages such as joint and several liabilities of partners, conflict of profits and decision making, dead partners, dependence of decision, as well as unlimited liability. Power and right of partner for musyarakah. First, sell the mutual owns the property since all partners are representing each other in partnership and have the rights to buy and sell for business purpose. Second, buy raw material on cash or credit using funds belonging to partnership put into business. Third, hire people to carry out business if needed. And fourth, deposit money and goods of business as depositors' trust where and when necessary. Next, al-musyarakah. Al-musyarakah is a joint enterprise or partnership structure with profit or loss sharing implication that is used in Islamic finance instead of interest-bearing loans. There are two types of musyarakah. First, syirkat urmi. It means joint ownership of two or more persons in particular property or assets, or called as holding partnerships. Second, syirkat ul uqud. It means a partnership affected by a mutual contract, or called as contractual partnership.
Islamic banking product.
Okay, now I will explain about the Islamic banking product, which is a letter of credit. Letter of credit is a commitment usually used by bank on behalf of its client to pay the beneficiary, which is the supplier of goods. A state of amount of money under specific conditions such as on shipment of specific goods. It is a form of financial guarantee covering the buyer risk and guaranteeing the payment to the seller. The bank will only make a payment upon the presentation of the shipping and other stipulated document which comply with the term and condition of the LC. Under Islamic bank, they use LC as a fees based on banking service to facilitate the trade. Islamic bank usually issue the LC on the basis of wakalah, murabaha, and musyarakah. Okay, the first one is murabaha Islamic letter of credit. Based on this modus operandi, the first, customer inform the issuing bank, which is we take a bank Islam, of his Islamic letter of credit requirement and request the Islamic bank to purchase the goods that he willing to buy upon the negotiation of Islamic letter of credit on murabaha principle. The second is Islamic bank act as agent of its customer to purchase the goods. The third is Islamic bank establish the Islamic letter of credit and pay the proceed to negotiating bank. The fourth is Islamic bank sells the goods to his customer at the sales price comprising its cost and profit margin under murabaha principle. And the last one is customer take the document of the goods and they can clear it. Okay, the second one is the musyarakah Islamic letter of credit. The first, customer inform the issuing bank, which is Islamic bank, of his Islamic letter of credit requirement and negotiate the term of musyarakah financing for his requirement. The second is customer place a deposit of his share of cost of goods to be purchased as per the musyarakah agreement which the Islamic bank accept under principle of wa'adahiyat damanah. The third is Islamic bank establish the Islamic letter of credit and pay the proceed to negotiating bank utilizing customer deposit as well as its own share of financing. The fourth is Islamic bank release document to the customer. The fifth is customer take the document and release their goods. The sixth is Islamic bank and the customer share the profit from the venture as provided for in the agreement. Okay, the third one is Wakalah Islamic letter of credit. In Wakalah Islamic letter of credit, the first one, customer inform the issuing bank, which is Bank Islam, of his Islamic letter of credit requirement and request Islamic bank to provide the facility. The second, Islamic bank require the customer to place a deposit to the full amount of the price of goods to be purchased under the principle of wadiyah hayat damanah. The third is Islamic bank establish Islamic letter of credit and pay the proceed to negotiating bank utilizing the customer deposit and subsequently release the document to customer. The fourth is negotiation bank claim reimbursement from the Islamic bank as per the reimbursement instruction. The last one is Islamic bank charge the customer fees and commission for its service under principle of urj based on wakalah principle.
Yeah, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad AQIFF bin ASMADI. Entry number is 264373. I will explain about IECR. The scheme is found by AZWIN Bank and is available to direct and indirect exporters. The ECR is formulated based the Sharia contract of Murabahah and Baitin, promotes the export of manufactured goods, agricultural products, and primary commodities that are Sharia compliant and permissible according to Sharia. Two types of facilities are available to exporters: pre-shipment ECR and post-shipment ECR. The pre-shipment financial is to facilitate the production of eligible goods for export prior to shipment and to encourage backward linkage between exporters and local suppliers. And the post-shipment financing is given to exporters to finance export of eligible goods after shipments.
I will continue present on Islamic accepted bill. Islamic accepted bill is a bill of exchange drawn on and accepted by a bank to finance or sale or purchase of goods and commodities. It is similar to the conventional bankers acceptance and is formulated on the principle of murabaha, cost plus, and also by al-dain, debt trading. So they have two types of financing under the ABI facility. which is import and local purchase, and also the export and local sale. So for the operation mechanism under murabahah, so first, bank will appoint the client as the agent to buy the goods from the supplier. Second, the client will purchase the goods for the bank from the supplier, and the supplier will supply the goods to the agent for the bank. The bank will pay the purchase price to the supplier for the good purchased, and bank resells the good purchased to the client and agreed selling price, which is cost plus profit on deferred payment. And last one, the clients will pay the bank the selling price upon maturity. For the operation mechanism under Ba'adines, they have 5 steps, which is first, the client will sell the goods to the supplier. The supplier will pay to the clients at the end of the maturity dates of the accepted bills. The client will sell the debt to the bank. The bank will credit the discounted amount of the client. And last one, on maturity dates, the client will then collect the debt from the supplier and then pay to the bank.
Okay. Okay, next is Islamic bank guarantee. Okay, Islamic bank guarantee is a written undertaking given by a bank to cover various situations to support exporter or contractor. It use a protection against non-fulfillment of another party's obligation. A bank guarantee carry a risk for issuing bank, which become liable to pay out against the guarantee in the event of default. Accordingly, the bank takes a liability risk and will first assess the client's financial position before issuing any guarantee in order to determine whether the client's reputation and creditworthiness warrant the bank taking a risk on a performance of the client. Okay, for bank guarantees do not normally involve any financing, but the bank may charge a guarantee commission for service on issuing their own guarantee and carrying the risk for the guaranteed period. In the case of Islamic bank, they use guarantees under the Islamic concept, which is kafala, and Islamic bank guarantee have a common type of guarantee, which is a bid bond, performance bond, advance payment guarantee, shipping guarantee, and standby letter of credit. Okay, for the structure flow, I choose from RHB Bank for Islamic Bank Guarantee. Okay, firstly, customer enter into a contractual agreement with a beneficiary to fulfill an obligation, and then second step, customer approach RHB Bank Islam to request the issuance of Islamic Bank Guarantee facilities, and then step 3, RHB Islamic Bank issue IBG to the customer as a surety to discharge the liability of beneficiary in case that customer default. In return, a sum amount of fee is charged to the customer. Okay, step 4, in the event of default by customer, the beneficiary will claim from RHB Islamic Bank. Then RHB Islamic Bank make immediate payment on first demand provided the claim meet all the conditions of the guarantee. And then for the last step, if there is no default, the beneficiary will return the IBG to the customer, followed by RHB Islamic Bank's cancellation upon maturity.
Next, working capital finance. Where finance are required for the working capital of a running business, the instrument of musyarakah may be used in the following manner. First, the capital of the running business may be evaluated with mutual consent. It is already mentioned while discussing the traditional concept of the musyarakah that it is not necessary, according to the Imam Malik, that the capital of musyarakah is contributed in cash form. Non-liquid asset can be also form part of the capital on the basis of evaluation. This view can be adapted here. In this way, the value of the business can be treated as the investment of the person who seeks finance, while the amount given by the financier can be treated as his share of the investment. The musyarakah may be affected for a particular period, at 1 year or 6 years or less. Both of parties agree on a certain percentage of the profit to be given to the financier, which should not exceed of the percent of his investment, because he shall not work for the business. On the expiry of the term, all liquid or non-liquid assets of the business are again evaluated, and of the profit may be distributed on the basis of this evaluation. Second, according to the traditional concept, the profit cannot be determined unless all the assets of the business are liquidated. Yet, the valuation of the assets can be treated as constructive liquidation with mutual consent of the parties, because there is no specific prohibition in Sharia against it. It can also mean that the working partner has purchased the share of the financial in the asset of the business, and the price of his share has been determined on the basis of valuation, keeping in view of ratio of profit allocated for him according to the term of musyarakah.
Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.